And welcome back to Urban Outlook. We are talking to Shan Foster, who is the Vice President of External Affairs and Men Together, which is a YWCA program focused on preventing domestic violence, but taking it from a different point of view, from the male point of view. And before we left, you were saying, you know, the program, the curriculum is in the schools, it's in our churches, it's in our clubhouses when it comes to our our athletes, but also I wonder what those numbers look like. We saw, you know, in the video, a number of African American boys getting that coaching, getting that help, learning how to deal with girls and women. But what do you really see when it comes to incidents of domestic violence? Is it based on sort of racial numbers, or is it an economic problem? How does it play out in your opinion?
It's really more of an economic problem when you see it's about power and control. So at any end of that spectrum, you're going to see violent acts that are playing out. Yeah. It's also a matter of ACEs. When you see a significant amount of ACEs that are playing out in people's lives, particularly as young adults, when the statistics say that boys who witness abuse are more than twice as likely to repeat that behavior, girls are more than twice as likely to be victims of that behavior. And so it's really something that is across the board in every community. Some communities have more ability to cover things up and to sweep them under the rug, but in large part, this is something that is happening in every community, in every workplace, and it's something that we all should really pay attention to. It's the most unreported crime in the entire world.
Yeah. Which is still, yeah, because it's hard to talk about, right? You want to keep the secret in many families, I think. One of the things I want to give kudos to for the YWCA, and of course for you, is the Amend program started here in Nashville. And so now you all are taking this program across the country. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're so excited to have an opportunity to share what we've learned as we've done this over the last 6 years, and there's been a significant number of YWCAs around the country who have raised their hand, who said, you know what, we need this in our community. Come and show us how to do this. We'd love to partner with you. And so we're excited to do that starting in January. We're going to be in 5 other cities, and we'll be continuing up to 20 cities over the next 3 years in partnership with the YWCA USA to do this national scaling and rollout. We're excited to partner with Allstate Foundation on that, and it's just been an incredible journey, really raising awareness. We hosted a national conference here in Nashville in September, and it was just incredible to see Terry Crews and Eddie George and Brenda Tracy and Rachel Baribeau all sharing the impact of this work around the country and prevention, and how it's important to challenge each other, particularly as adults, to get involved in these kind of issues, because this is the future. If we're ever going to end violence against women and girls, it's really going to take a community approach in order to do so, and that's what we're offering around the country.
Have you seen, at least in the Nashville proper area, where this program has been a fixture for 6 years, have you seen numbers decline in the number? And it may be difficult to answer that because you only know what's reported, right? But does it appear as though we're doing better here because of the programs that the YW offers, including the Amend Together program?
What we're seeing, and this is kind of what we predicted on the front end, is that as we raise awareness and it becomes more comfortable for people to talk about these issues, the numbers actually increase, because the numbers that we have don't actually represent what's actually happening, because again, this is the most unreported crime in the world. But what we are seeing is a number of these young men who are saying, I'm going to make a pledge that I will never be abusive towards a woman or girl. They were seeing young boys being able to talk about these issues. We're seeing adults who are inviting us into corporate spaces to have these dialogues with staff and colleagues and leadership. You're seeing policies that are being changed as a result of the work. So there's a significant amount of change that's happening in this community. And you can't go anywhere nowadays without somebody talking about the impact of Amend Together and the work of the YWCA around ending violence against women and girls in the city of Nashville. Nashville. When you have a mayor who is talking about this,
Yes.
even as he's traveling, about our goal to end violence against women and girls and make Nashville the safest city in the world for women and girls. These are things that would not have been possible 10 years ago, but now we're making huge strides towards accomplishing those goals because of the community approach.
And the approach, Shane, just seems to make so much sense, right? Because you think about it, programs historically have only focused on the women, teaching women what to be what signs to look for, teaching women how to seek help, teaching women how to recover, whether it's physically or financially or mentally, depending on what kind of abuse they've been a part of. So whoever came up with the idea was, hey, let's talk to the men. Let's talk to the folks who may have some issues going on and don't know how to deal in any way other than violently. How did that all come about?
Well, there are some experts who are around the country who had already started having this conversation, already started this dialogue.
Yeah.
A mentor of mine, Tony Porter, and people like Jackson Katz and Joe Ehrman, who have started doing this work around the country and have been doing so for a number of years. And once we learned from them what they had done, we started looking in our own community and looking at the partnerships that exist at the YWCA, and looking at people that we're connected to in this community, and said, you know what, they've done something great, they've done something amazing, we're excited to learn from them. We need to create something that really involves this community, because Nashville has all of the pieces that are necessary to really change this from a community approach to ultimately fix those numbers, so that there aren't 1 in 4 women experiencing domestic violence, so that those numbers become 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 40. Right now, Tennessee is 5th in the nation for men killing women. That just can't be.
Yeah.
And so we have to have a community approach, and that is the way to really change these issues, not only to provide information and education for our youth, but also to make sure when they see the example of the adults in their lives, that they're saying the exact same thing that they're learning in these clubs, that abusing women is wrong, speaking out derogatory towards women is wrong, sexist views and misogynistic jokes are wrong, and we're going to create a space where women and girls are not just safe, but also valued and respected.
In order to create that community approach, though, you've got to have the right partnerships. So talk a little bit about it, not just the people, but the leaders and the businesses and everybody else that it takes in order to pull this off.
When I think about what we've been able to do here in Nashville, I think about the Nashville Predators. Sean Henry, their CEO, has been involved from the very beginning, and has not only brought this to the team, but to the entire staff of Bridgestone Arena and the Nashville Predators. I think about Allstate Foundation. I think about Bank of America, Tyson Moore, their president, who has become an ambassador of this program. I think about the Titans and what they're doing to make sure that they are involved in our work. I think about so many corporations in this community, the mayor's office, the police department. Yeah. We've been involved with the Metro Nashville Police District Attorney's Office. So it's really a community approach. And then when you think about Metro Nashville Public Schools and not only just allowing us to come into these schools, but really partnering with us to not only educate their youth, but to educate their principals, to educate their staff. These things are so critical, because we could do the work with kids all day long, but if they go and they see adults speaking derogatory towards women and girls, if they see their adults using language that is demeaning and disrespectful, if they see these adults involved in domestic violence and sexual assault cases, then that message is not going to be as strong. So it's critical that the adults are speaking the same language and holding themselves accountable, and so that they can ultimately be able to hold the young people accountable as well.
How can people get involved or participate, depending on what their needs are?
Well, we are looking for ambassadors. We're looking for volunteers. We're so excited to have opportunities throughout the year to come and volunteer. But most importantly, we need people to change. We need people to hold each other accountable. If you're a business owner, bring us to your place of work so that we can provide training for your staff and for your leadership. If you have kids that are in schools, make sure that a Men Together is in your schools. And let's make sure that every place of worship here in Nashville is also having conversation about these issues, so that there's no hiding place, there's no place to hide this, sweep this under the rug. No more of this language about what happens in our house stays in our house. Let's let's expose these issues so that we can ultimately heal our city so that Nashville can become the safest city in the world for women and girls.
Are you in schools outside of the Nashville area yet?
We are
able to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have those capabilities. We have a train-the-trainer program, and we're working with other organizations to train their staff to be able to deliver our curriculum as well.
And then a quick contact, either a website, something like that, that people can tap into.
Yes, you can go to amentogether.org, or you can follow us on all social medias platforms. Amen Together is the tagline. So we're excited. Please come and follow us, and we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Shane Foster, great work. Thank you so much for telling us about the latest with the Men Together. And of course, we'll have that information for you on our website as well. We'll see you again next time. Thanks so much for watching.